My name is Ryan, and I am an agorist. Today we are looking at Tor and the so-called dark web. The word Tor comes from the acronym TOR, which stands for the Onion Router. What the Onion Router, or Tor, does is it routes your internet traffic through multiple Tor nodes on its way to your destination. So, on the regular internet, what we call the clear web, if you go to a website address, your browser sends a request directly to the server that hosts the website, and then that server returns the page directly to you. What you end up with is that your ISP, Internet Service Provider, and the recipient both know your IP address, and they can potentially figure out your identity. Now with the Tor browser, when you go to a web address, your request gets routed through other Tor servers so that the destination server does not know your IP address, or physically where your request came from. Tor also allows people to host websites directly on the Tor network, and these sites end in .onion rather than .com or .org or the other ones that people are familiar with. When you access an Onion site, you have the added benefit of end-to-end encryption. Now, Tor uses public key encryption, which means that each node has both a public key and a private key, and anything encrypted with their public key can only be decrypted using their private key, and anything encrypted using their private key can only be decrypted using their own public key. So when you go to a .onion site, your browser receives the public keys of every node between you and the destination server that you're going to. Now, the request is then encrypted one after the other using each node's public key, and then the request is sent off. Each server or each node receives the request and uses their private key to decrypt the package and send it to the next node in the chain on its way to the destination. Now, as the request goes through each node, the layers of encryption come off, much like removing the layers of an onion, and the final request is then received by the end server and decrypted. Using this layered encryption ensures that each node along the way knows nothing about what they are sending. They only have an encrypted blob, and they only know who they are sending it to next. So they just decrypt their portion and they pass it on. Now let me say, Tor is not perfect. The Onion Router isn't perfect, but it does something that cannot be done on the clear web. With the clear web, all of our web traffic is out in the open, both our IP address and also the websites we're going to. The government collects this data en masse. But with Tor, this kind of mass surveillance is impossible. If the government invests enough time and energy, they might be able to figure out who you are as you browse in Tor. But it would have to be a targeted investigation, and if they are individually targeting you, you probably already have bigger problems than the government knowing if you visited a particular Onion site. People often call privacy-minded networks like Tor the dark web, as if it's something scary. But what is more scary to me is an open network, where everything you do can be watched and examined. Privacy isn't scary, it's just part of life. When you have a private conversation with somebody, do you call it a scary, dark conversation? No, it's just a conversation. And if you pay a neighbor kid with cash, which, mind you, is relatively untraceable, is it a scary, dark transaction? No, you're just paying him for his service. We have been programmed from decades on the clear web to think that anything private and untraceable on the internet must be bad. But rather than ask what might be theoretically bad, let's focus on what's actually bad. There is something more scary and bad than Tor, and it's the government itself. The government are the ones stealing thousands of dollars from you each year. The government are the ones making purchasing valuable goods and services expensive and difficult. The government are the ones making demands every day on your life, and if you refuse those demands, they will smash into your home and either kill you or else kidnap you at gunpoint and lock you in a cage. Let's get our priorities straight and let's fix our perspective. Freedom isn't what's scary. What's scary are those who violently take our freedom from us. Privacy is essential to freedom, which means that privacy-minded networks like Tor are essential to our freedom online. This is Techno Agorist, Episode 2.